We've said so many times here, we're so fortunate to live in this area with many amazing people who truly do want to make a difference and help out.
Chief Meteorologist Steve Caparizzo has all the proof we need. Cap?
Yeah, this was an amazing story. Let me introduce you to Dr. David Chico, a veterinarian from Burn Hills Veterinary Hospital. Now, this past April, he came back from a trip to Poland to help the Ukrainian refugees fleeing from this horrible war with Russia. Most with nothing more than the clothes on their backs. They lost everything, and yet they still wanted to save their pets.
The saddest nights that we had there, it was probably 10 or 11 o'clock. We were changing shifts, and two women, a young girl, 18 or 19, came in with her mom. She was okay until she walked in the tent. She had 3 carriers with her, and she just started shaking and sobbing. She said, "My house was bombed and burned. The only thing that we could get out were our 7 cats and a backpack. That's all that they had." And her mom took a piece of the bomb out and showed us.
How close were you actually to the border, right?
Like 100 feet.
What town was it in Poland?
Przemysl. So it was the Medica boarding crossing is where we were at. It's about a quarter mile from the border processing area to where evacuees get onto buses to go to the next leg of their journey. And it's that whole quarter mile is lined with humanitarian groups from all over the world.
How did the families get their pets out of the war zone?
Some people did arrive on a bus, but many people had been traveling for days just on foot. They were exhausted. The animals were absolutely exhausted. And, you know, a lot of them left with anything that they could put their animal in. And I saw all kinds of things. A young man had a bird in his coat for days. He had been traveling with a bird stuck inside his coat. There was a mouse in a takeout food container. There were turtles, there were snails. I think some of the sadder ones, there was a cat where someone had taken a plastic storage box and duct taped it shut with the cat inside and just poked holes in it. And it was so tight that the cat couldn't lift its head up. And so to be able to just get the cat out, put it over here, let it rest, let it eat.
It was amazing.
And give them a new carrier. And then just the smiles on people's faces. It was amazing. And you know, we gave them food, we triaged them for medical care, we gave them leashes, we gave them harnesses, portable bowls, whatever they needed to continue on.
And that meant the world to them. The people that came over, their faces must be etched in your mind, the look of fear, the confusion.
We had a man pass out right in front of our tent, an elderly man who had been walking for days and just collapsed right on the ground in front of our tent. The realization of what these people were going through was really what sticks with me, and I can't get it out of my mind even now when I read the news every day about where there's a new bombing or missile strike, and I know what that means, you know, and there's going to be more people that are leaving.
Sometimes helping the Ukrainians and their pets was a bit difficult due to the language barrier.
They hired Ukrainian high school students that were displaced to be our interpreters. And so my interpreter was Leo. He was 17. His mother and father were still in Ukraine. His dad was a sailor. He couldn't leave. His mom worked at the port. They sent him out of the country for safety. He's 17 on his own in Poland.
Dr. Chico's first trip internationally was the Philippines after a typhoon hit in 2013 to help with rabies.
One of the core missions that we did on that trip was to go to neighborhood in these affected areas and do vaccine clinics, vaccinate the dogs for rabies, dogs and cats, and also to give out pet supplies, pet food, to help support them.
In 2016, he was off to Lebanon to help with the Syrian refugees. He's been doing this now 6 times.
I went over as a veterinarian to provide some medical care, and then we brought animals back to the United States and Canada to relieve some of the burden on the shelter infrastructure in that country.
An amazing veterinarian. He's caring for pets here and across the world. In 2018, Dr. Chico received the American Humane Award for a veterinarian, and one of his true passions is helping the Damien Center and those living with AIDS and HIV. He offers free wellness checkups for their pets and does personal visits to be sure they are well. If you want to help the pets in Ukraine, the group that Dr. Chico works with is the International Fund for Animal Welfare, IFAW.org. If you want more information, go to our website, and we have included the entire 40-minute interview. It's so interesting. Lucky to have him, aren't we?